And today I'll be showing you my 2026 Senate predictions. So starting off with the safe Democratic states: Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Delaware, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. And then for the safe Republican states. So first, I think that Texas will be a safe Republican state, and also Florida will be safe for the Republicans and now for the likely states. So starting in Iowa, incumbent Joni Ernst, who's running on her third term, will probably win by a likely margin, but there is no Democratic candidate on here right now, so I think that Ernst will win by a likely margin. And now for Ohio, in Ohio, John Husted, incumbent, filling in the seat for Vice President J.D. Vance. I think that Husted will win re-election or something like, election. And first off, I think Sherrod Brown, he could run, and also there's Tim Ryan too. But Sherrod Brown, if he runs against Husted, it might be lean, but I have it as likely. So now, New Mexico. In New Mexico, there we go. Here, let me just get New Mexico. New Mexico, Ben Ray Lujan, running for his second term, who beat Mark Ronchetti by 6.1%. So I honestly think it'll be just around that area. And then now for Minnesota, my home state. In Minnesota, Tina Smith has decided that she will not run for re-election. So right now, Peggy Flanagan, Lieutenant Governor, has declared that she will run for Senate. There's also Angie Craig and Keith Ellison. And for the Republican primary, Royce White and Brad Finstead, Michelle Fishbach, Pete Stauber. So I think that'll be a likely margin in Minnesota. And now for Virginia, incumbent Mark Warner. I think he'll win re-election, but there is a chance that Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, who could run for Senate, but I don't think he'll run for Senate, so it'll probably be likely, but if Youngkin runs, it might go down to lean or tilt, but I have it as likely. And now for North Carolina, incumbent Tom Tillis running for his third term. The only thing I have is that Laura Trump could primary Tillis, but I don't really see that happening in the Democratic primary. Roy Cooper could run, but it'll be lean for the Republicans, I think. And now in New Hampshire, incumbent Jeanne Shaheen will run for fourth term, and for the Republicans, Scott Brown could run, and I think that might make it lean because in 2020 it was safe, but in 2026 I think it'll be lean D. And now for Maine, incumbent Susan Collins could run and what is it? I don't know, honestly. But Susan Collins could win here because she did beat Sarah Gideon by 8.6% in 2020. But I think that it'll probably be either Jared Golden and Janet Mills could be the Democratic candidate, but I see Susan Collins winning by a lean margin. And now for Michigan. In Michigan, Gary Peters is not running for re-election, so I think that Pete Buttigieg, former Secretary of Transport and former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, could run and maybe even win too by a tilt margin. And then for the Republicans, there's Tudor Dixon or Mike Rogers. But I think Pete Buttigieg would win here by a tilt margin. And finally, in Georgia, incumbent Jon Ossoff will win re-election here after he won in a runoff versus David Perdue in 2020 by 1.2%. But Brian Kemp could run, and also Buddy Carter or Mike Collins. I hope not Marjorie Taylor Greene, but yeah, it'll probably be a tilt margin in Georgia. So that is my 2026 Senate map. So hope you enjoyed, and see you later. Goodbye.